This week's portion of Re'eh that coincides with Rosh Chodesh Elul, this forthcoming Shabbos Kodesh, states, Re'eh anochi nosein lefneichem hayom baracha uklala. Kadosh Baruch Hu says through Moshe Rabbeinu to Klal Yisrael, see and understand clearly that today I am presenting to you, in front of you, bracha uklala, a blessing and a curse. Es ha-bracha asher tishmu mitzvos Adonai Elohechem, the bracha that you will receive if you hearken to the ordinances of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, your God, that I'm commanding you today. And the curse if you will not hearken and listen to those mitzvos, but rather v'sartem and aderach, if you will deviate, if you will leave the path. Asher anochi mitzaveh eskem hayom, that I am commanding you today, pursuing other gods, small g, asher that you have never known. And the question that should be raised is, what does the pasuk mean? Behold, I am presenting before you today bracha uklala, a bracha and a klala. It should really have stated, behold, I am presenting to you today bracha, blessing, or klala, or a curse. The bracha if you listen, and the klala if you will not listen. Why is it bracha uklala? As it were, that it is one entity itself. And I remember when I was growing up, and I was a rather young kid, that I heard or read the story of one of the great Rosh Yeshiva and Balei Musar of Europe, who was once walking on a Leil Shabbos Kodesh, a Friday night, by the light of the moon, and suddenly a person jumped out at him, brandishing a gun, to which the Rosh Yeshiva or Mashgiach Rochani immediately responded, please, I have nothing. It's my holy day. I'm not permitted to carry. I don't have any money on me whatsoever. I have nothing of value. I'm not even wearing a watch. To which the person responded, I'm not after your money. I want to remove your life. The Rosh Yeshiva couldn't imagine why in the world the person wished to remove his life. And he looked at him and said, why? And as he looked closer at the person's face, he began to recognize him as having been a former Talmud in the yeshiva. And the man brandishing the gun turned to him and he said, you need to understand, after numerous years in yeshiva, I decided to leave. And it wasn't easy leaving the yeshiva. And it wasn't easy leaving Frumkai. That first cigarette that needed to be lit on Shabbos Kodesh was very difficult for me. And many others followed. And then I began to stop putting on tefillin. And I no longer recited brachos before eating or after eating. And after short order, I kept nothing. And needless to say, I didn't open up a sefer. But one thing I can tell you, that from the moment that I left that base medrash, when I no longer opened up a sefer, and I no longer put on tefillin, and I no longer recited brachos, I haven't had a day's pleasure. I haven't had a day's satisfaction in all these years. The story ends with them having parted amicably. But I believe it gives pshat in this pasuk. Re'eh anochi nosei lefneichem hayom bracha uklala. Kadosh Baruch Hu says to us, I'm giving you the greatest bracha imaginable. The holiness, the kedusha, and the sweetness of Shabbos Kodesh. The richness of Limud HaTorah. The benevolence and endless passion that fills the array of the halachos of tzedakah. The understanding of what it means to be a loyal and doting wife and husband for one's spouse. The challenge and opportunity of what it means to be a parent and raise children in accordance with the ways of the Torah. And understand, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Re'eh anochi nosei lefneichem hayom, I'm presenting to you today the greatest of brachos. And when you adhere to them, and you follow my mitzvos, while you will see that there is nothing in life that is more rewarding and more fulfilling. But the flip side of it is It's a bracha, not a bracha oklala, but it's a bracha. But once you've tasted the bracha, once you've experienced it, once you've known what it means to sing Zmiris at a Shabbos table, once you understand what it means to stand in a proper minyan where Kavanah goes hand in hand with Shemon Esrei and Kriya Shema, and you can close your eyes and feel yourself being elevated in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Once you know what it means to stand by a bris or a pidyon haben, to celebrate a bar mitzvah, a bas mitzvah, to stand under the chuppah, your own chuppah, let alone your child's chuppah, and know what it means. Hamshachas Hador is the continuity of Klal Yisrael in our adherence and loyalty to the Torah Kadosha. Well, then, should you ever decide to leave, why, that choice will indeed not simply be the absence of bracha, but it will turn anything and everything positive and meaningful that you ever experienced into the greatest of klalos. And that's what the pasuk says. The klala is gods, small gods that you never knew. And earlier, in last week's Sedra of Akev, did we not read that if you will be careful, if you will turn away from the Torah Kadosha, and you will serve other gods, small g. And Rashi tells us, what does it mean, Elohim Acherim? It doesn't simply mean other gods, small g, regarding which, of course, there is no comparison, but says Rashi, Shehem Acherim Lovdeim, for they are always never present, and they are always ignoring to those who serve them. So love, because you can cry out to such a God, small g, ve'eino onehu, and you'll never be answered. You can turn to any and every other kind of physical enjoyment that people avail themselves of, but it will never be the sweetness of the Torah. It will never be the fulfillment of learning a pasuk Chumash and Rashi. It will never be the joy of seeing a child's eyes widen when you teach him about HaKadosh Baruch Hu and his love for Klal Yisrael. Re'eh anochi nosei lefneichem hayom, not bracha oklala, bracha ukalala. Something to think about seriously as we enter this period of Elul. Have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.